Hello dear students, welcome back for the second session of History Chapter 5 Rulers and Buildings. Oh, as usual, I forgot to ask you, how are you? But I know that you must be doing great. I know because you'll be taking care of yourself. So let's start the second session. Between the 8th and the 18th centuries, kings and their officers built two kinds of structures. The first were forts, palaces, garden, residence, and tombs. And the second was structures meant for public activity, including temples, mosques, tanks, bazaars, etc. Merchants and others also carried out constructions activity. They built temples, mosques, and wells. The technologies used in the monuments are unique. It requires sophisticated skills in making a large room with an elaborate superstructure. Between the 7th and 10th centuries, architects started adding more rooms, doors, and windows to building. Between the 8th and 13th centuries, the Trabate style, a style of architecture in which roofs, doors, and windows were made by placing a horizontal beam across two vertical columns, was used in building temples, mosques, etc. The early 11th century temples were decorated with elaborately carved sculptures. The temples had shikhara too. From the 12th century, two technologies and stylistic developments came to be introduced. Firstly, the weight of the superstructure above the doors and window was sometimes carried by arcs. The architectural form was known as arcuate. Secondly, limestone cement was increasingly used in construction. Temples and mosques were built to demonstrate the power, wealth, and devotion of the patron. According to an inscription, the Rajeshwar temple was built by King Rajadeva for the worship of his god. Rajarajeshwaram. Here it is worth mentioning that the name of the ruler and the god was very similar. The king took the god's name because it was auspicious and he wanted to appear like a god. But Muslim sultans and padshahs did not claim to be incarnation of God. However, Persian chronicles describe the sultan as the shadow of God. Rulers offered patronage to the learned and pious people. Rulers also built tanks and reservoirs and got praise. Sultan Iltutmish won universal respect for constructing a large reservoir just outside Delhi in Khuna. It was called the Haji Sultani or the King's Reservoir. Kings built temples, but they often looted them while attacking one another's kingdom. In the 11th century, when the Chola king Rajendra I built a Shiva temple in his capital, he filled it with prized statues seized from defeated rulers. Sultan Muhammad of Ghazni attacked the temples of defeated kings and looted their wealth and idols. Under the Mughal rulers, gardens, tombs, and forts were built. Babur were interested in planning and laying out formal gardens placed within rectangular walled enclosures and divided into four quarters by artificial canals. These gardens were called charbagh, four gardens, because of their symmetrical division into quarters. During Akbar's reign, tomb architecture became important. His architects turned to the tombs to his Central Asian ancestors, Taimur. The central towering dome and the tall gateway, Pishtak, was important aspects of Mughal architecture, first visible in Humayun's tomb. During Shah Jahan's reign, huge construction activity was carried on in Agra and Delhi. Shah Jahan's audience hall was especially constructed to resemble a mosque. He adapted the riverfront garden in the layout of the Taj Mahal. Here, the white marble mausoleum was placed on a terrace by the edge of the river and the garden was to its south. Shah Jahan developed his architectural form as a means of control to access the nobles had to the river. In the new city of Shahjahanabad that he constructed in Delhi, the imperial palace commanded the riverfront. Only especially favored nobles were given access to the river. The Mughal rulers were particularly skilled in adapting regional architectural styles in the construction of their own buildings. In Bengal, the local rulers had developed a roof that was designed to resemble a thatched hut. The Mughals liked the Bangla Dome. The Akbar's capital of Fatehpur Sikri, many of the buildings show the influence of the architectural style of Gujarat and Malwa. Now let us learn the terms and the meanings. Superstructure. It refers to the part of a building above the ground floor. Baulis, they were larger step wells. Shikhara, the topmost point of the temple. Arcuate, the architectural form in which the weight of the superstructure above the doors and the windows was sometimes carried by arcs. Charbagh, four gardens. Pistak, the tall gateway. Paitradura, colored hard stones placed in depressions carved into marble or sandstone, creating beautiful ornate pattern. Diwani Khas or Aam, the ceremonial hall of public and private audience. Hushed beasts or 8 paradises, the central hall surrounded by 8 rooms. This is where we end with the second session of the chapter. I hope you have understood all the topics that were covered in the first session and the further explanation in the second session, as well as we had the terms and their meanings in this session. For the better understanding, as usual, I would ask you to read textbook and watch the videos carefully, read the slides so that it will be better for you to understand. We'll send you question answers very soon. So take care of yourself, stay home, stay safe. Bye bye.